The desert does not forgive, and neither does history. Imagine a contradiction so absolute it defies reason. Men of God bound by the sacred vows of poverty, chastity, and absolute obedience, who also happened to be the most lethal, highly disciplined shock troops the medieval world had ever terrified itself encountering. For nearly 2 centuries, they didn't just rule the battlefield, they engineered the global economy, and then in a single, terrifying dawn raid, they were utterly erased. The year is 1119. The First Crusade has ended, leaving the newly captured city of Jerusalem floating in blood. For European Christians flocking to the Holy Land, the journey is a death sentence. Outside the city walls, the highways are a slaughterhouse. Bandits and marauders hunt the helpless pilgrims like prey in the brush. Enter Hugues de Payens. He and 8 fellow knights refuse to stand by. They don't just swear to fight, they take monastic vows. They forge a radical, terrifying new lifestyle. Monks with swords. King Baldwin II grants them a wing of the royal palace on the Temple Mount, a site whispered to sit directly atop the legendary ruins of Solomon's Temple. The world would come to know them simply as the Knights Templar. By 1139, the Vatican hands them the ultimate shield, a papal decree that places the Templars entirely above the law. They pay no taxes. They answer to no kings. They obey no one on earth, save for the Pope himself. In an instant, they morph from a ragged band of highway protectors into an elite corporate war machine. The year is 1177. The Battle of Montjussard, a blinding, howling sandstorm swallows the desert. Out of the choking haze, a wall of Templars on heavy warhorses charge in perfect, terrifying synchronization. Saladin's vast army of 20,000 breaks in pure panic before a force of just 500 white-mantled knights. Unlike the chaotic feudal armies of Europe, where individual lords fought for personal glory, the Templars fight as a single, merciless organism. They are the medieval special forces. When that white mantle with the blood-red cross appeared on the horizon, it wasn't just a tactical challenge, it was a psychological nightmare. But their true genius wasn't forged in blood. It was written in ink. Because individual Templars took vows of poverty, the order itself became staggeringly, dangerously wealthy. Nobles fleeing to the Crusades signed over their estates, their castles, their vineyards. To solve the problem of pilgrims being butchered for their gold en route to Jerusalem, the Templars invent something revolutionary, the world's first multinational banking network. A traveler could deposit gold in Paris, receive a coded parchment document, and withdraw the equivalent funds upon arrival in the Holy Land. Within decades, the Templars don't just protect the roads, they own them. They buy fleets of warships, seize massive tracts of agricultural land, and become the primary lenders to European monarchs. They had become too big to fail, and far too powerful to tolerate. By the late 13th century, the Holy Land is lost. The Templars' primary military purpose is gone, but their financial grip on Europe remains absolute, and one man desperately wants out of his debts: King Philip IV of France. Philip is bankrupt from his wars, deeply indebted to the Templars, and fiercely envious of their immunity to his laws. He decides to strike at the roots. Friday, October 13th, 1307, in a perfectly synchronized, top-secret dawn raid across France, Philip's men kick down doors and drag hundreds of Templars from their beds in chains, including Grand Master Jacques de Molay. To ensure their absolute destruction, Philip doesn't just accuse them of treason, he accuses them of sins against God. The charges are engineered to weaponize the medieval mind. Spitting on the cross, ritual sodomy, and worshipping a bizarre demonic idol known as Baphomet. Subjected to the brutal machinery of the Inquisition, broken by the rack and the open flame, the knights confess to things they never did, just to make the agony stop. Under intense political pressure from the French crown, the Pope dissolves the order. In 1312, their empire is dismantled, their assets seized. March 18, 1314, the final act of the tragedy. On a small, muddy island in the middle of the Seine River in Paris, A massive wooden pyre is stacked high under an ominous ash-grey sky. Grand Master Jacques de Molay, frail and grey-bearded but unbroken, stands tied to the stake. He has courageously recanted his forced confessions, condemning himself to burn as a relapsed heretic. As the flames rise around him, his voice cuts through the crackle of the wood, delivering a terrifying final ultimatum to his executioners. Pope Clement, King Philip, I summon you to appear before the judgment seat of God within a year. Within a month, Pope Clement V is dead. Before the year ends, King Philip suffers a sudden, fatal stroke during a hunt. The Templars were gone, but their final strike left an echo that shook the very foundations of Europe. The warrior monks were destroyed by greed and political betrayal, yet they never truly left the shadows of our imagination. Today, they inhabit the razor's edge between history and myth, forever remembered as the holy warriors who built an empire and the broken men who paid the ultimate price for it.